All right.
Morning, Coach.
How's it going, guys?
Statement, and then we'll get everybody to raise their hands and go from there. John Hale.
Liam, I'm curious, the receivers, are you at the point where you can move guys around to different positions, or this early in the install, do you want guys focusing on one spot, learning that, and then worrying about versatility later?
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of this is we're going to keep these guys and try to put them in spots right now. But the beauty is be able to move them around by formation. So that then allows them to play, okay, if Wandell's in the slot, he can play outside. He can play outside to the right. He can play inside. Josh Ali can move around really more so by formation right now as opposed to them trying to learn different spots on the field. I think it's a little bit easier right now for them to just line up according to formations, and that will be a little bit more multiple that way to be able to get them around and move them around in spots to be able to create matchups and some leverages that we may like in the pass game for sure. That's a good question.
Josh.
Hey, Liam, I'm curious about the running back. We've talked a lot about the pass stuff, and I'm sure they'll be involved a lot more in the passing game. But what else? Like, what does their role kind of look like, and what maybe are some of the new things they're having to learn?
Yeah, I think just at this point, I believe that group is a skilled group for sure. I mean, Chris, Smoke, Jatan's coming along really well. Tisdale's coming along. I like the young kids for sure a lot. I mean, it's more so just for them. It's a matter of, okay, we're going to have protections where they're involved in the pass pro, where they if they don't get blitz pickup, they get out. And we'll also have, protections where they're free releasing from the backfield. We'll also have some where they're lining up and empty. That's all new to them. That's a little bit new for those guys. Just hearing the terminology and just the technique of what their responsibility is, but got to be able to use these guys in the pass game. It's a talented group, and we need to get the ball in their hands as much as possible. Screens, jet sweeps, things like that. Get them out on the perimeter to be able to create some leverage and get the balls to our athletes in space. And they just do such a nice job of making plays when they are in space. It's our job to get them the football as much as possible to create some different matchups for the defense.
If I could follow up real fast, just how much do you want to get them the ball through the pass game? Because I imagine, as the trying to find more balance, you're also taking carries away from guys that are used to getting, 20, 25 carries and just trying to negotiate that.
Yeah, I think right now, Chris Rodriguez needs to touch the ball as many times as possible, right? But I think it's my job and our job as an offensive staff to find different ways for him to touch the football as opposed to just turning around and giving him the ball. The screen went blank on us here.
Just keep going.
Okay, so, that's the thing right now is just getting them touches, without the football just getting handed off to them. That's something that's new, is just being able to free release from the backfield and catch the football. But, it would be hard for me to say right now how many touches a game each guy would like to get. But I do know that we want to try to get Chris over 25 touches a game for sure. And whether that's 25 runs, 5 catches, get Smoke a couple touches and catches, Tiz and Jatan. It's going to be tough to get these kids all the ball, but I do believe that's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have for us right now, and it's more so just right now they're working just running back techniques. The wide zone and tracks and all that stuff is so new to these guys that it's something that's building as we go every day, and they're doing a great job. But as we start to build the install, that's a good way for us to be able to get these kids some reps doing some different things.
Liam, I was wondering about the center position and the new offense. Are there any new or added responsibilities on that guy? You guys will have a new center for the first time in a long time. And just kind of curious, too, about how depth is developing at that spot.
Yeah, I think right now, those guys, I'll be honest, Drake did so much for those guys up front over the last couple of years. So obviously it's a new person that we play in the position. And right now we got kind of an open competition at the position. A couple of those guys are doing a nice job. Q is one guy that's really shown up over the last couple of days and done a nice job. And Fortner's been playing a little center as well and just mixing some of those guys in. Cox has done a nice job. And it's just a matter of right now, they've done all the calls in the past. I mean, Drake handled everything. So they're used to it from a center standpoint. Now it's just a different guy doing it. And the beauty of that room is it's a pride thing. Those guys want to do it. They want to make the calls. They want to be in charge. Okay, so that's the thing is those guys have the ability to just step up. It's really a next man up situation, and they learn from one of the best in college football over the last couple of years at running the show from the center position and being coached extremely hard and well, and also being able to communicate with your teammates. And I think those guys are doing a great job so far, and it's a work in progress for every position. But for sure, the center's got to make a lot of calls in both the run and the pass. So it's a lot on those guys, but they're handling it really well right now.
Larry?
Liam, you talked a lot about adjustments that players are having to make and as you try to learn them, but also it's a new coaching staff you're working with and they're working with. What's it been like for you just to learn about the other coaches that you're working with, and is that a transition period too?
For sure. I mean, I think anytime you get into a room with guys you haven't really worked with before, there's always some chemistry that you have to create. And it took some time for us to get in there and putting in a new offense. But these guys the staff's been great. The staff's been great so far. It's been really nice for me to have them because I can lean on them with a little bit of, hey, how is this kid as a person? I'm more leaning on these guys for understanding what kind of kids we have in our program and what makes them tick from a learning standpoint. So I think that's been great so far, getting these guys in the room. We just kind of hunkered in. But when I got here, and we were just going all day of just learning the offense, teaching the offense, but also doing it together. It wasn't just me saying this is what we're going to do and it's over with. We did this thing together, incorporated a lot of things that maybe some of us have done in the past at other places and try to give everybody a say, because I believe that if other people have some buy-in, then the thing's going to be a better situation for everybody. And we'll be able to get everybody to buy in as a staff and as the players. So it's been great. Obviously, I'm thrilled with John Settle so far as a new hire. He's been fantastic. Just such a calming presence for those kids and for me especially. He's been a great calming presence. And then obviously I worked with Scott Woodward and went to college with him. So I had some great relationship with him prior, but I've really been happy with the staff so far. It's been great.
John Wong?
Hey, Liam, Mark was telling us on Saturday how when he's teaching a new system, he likes to just throw everything out there, and then if the guys get overwhelmed, he can kind of pull back a little bit. What is your initial impression on how well these guys have been able to pick this up, and what's their football IQ in your mind?
I think we've picked it up fairly well. I mean, until today, day one was probably our best day as a unit. And you saw, we had some walkthroughs and things like that where they really did OTAs on their own. It was me just giving them some, paper, and they just went out and kind of executed some of that stuff on their own because we didn't have much time with them. So for us to be able to come out on day one and throw and catch the way we did, we were not in pads, so I wasn't really that worried about the run game. It was more so, hey, how can we throw and catch and just get lined up and do all those things. And today we took a step forward running the football and some physicality up front. And I thought we did some nice things. So, extremely pleased. All these plays are different for them. All the concepts, all the formations, the huddle, under center, cadence. It's all new. And they really have done a nice job picking it up. And that's the thing about these kids. It's like they want to learn. They want to be coached. They want to be able to do the things that you ask them to do. It's just a matter of, are you putting them in a position to be successful? If they feel like you can help them and put them in a position to be successful, I do believe that they'll do anything for you. And right now, we're seeing some of that with the guys just really getting up here on their own and taking advantage of the time. And I couldn't be more excited about where we're going.
Lonnie?
Liam, you talked in the past about sameness. In other words, your cadences and your footwork and all that you want with your quarterback to perform. How does that play into varying cadences to maybe to create false starts and all of it on the defensive side of football?
It's a weapon. That's the biggest thing for us. Cadence is a weapon, and just like plays are. Cadence, personnel is a weapon, plays are weapons, cadence is a weapon. And we need to be able to use it to our advantage. It showed up a couple times today where, the one thing I'm learning as well is you don't do something maybe for a day or two and you don't really emphasize it with all the other things that are going on in installation. Okay, they don't do something for a few days, you see it, the details start to slip. And that's on me to continue to press the tempo in terms of the fundamentals, techniques, and details that we're teaching, and it all starts with cadence. We have to be able to mix our cadence, go on verbal, nonverbal. That's the biggest thing. In and out of the huddle fast, sprint to the line, snap the ball, slow it down, all those things. I mean, just because we're in a huddle-based system does not mean we can't play with tempo. And the tempo that we will create will be utilized in and out of the huddle and with variations of cadence. So it's something that we're working on right now. We've gotten a few different ones in, but I think it's my job to detail some of the ones that we need to emphasize on a day-to-day basis, because you see some of the details slip when we don't practice it every single day.
Follow up on it right quick. Talk about the I know you mentioned some of your running backs, most of your running backs, but one young man was moved from the defense to the offense. How quickly, how far behind is he? Torrance Davis.
Yeah, Torrance, he's still a young kid, trying to figure things out just like everybody else. I mean, he's a physical, gifted kid when it comes to just looking at his frame, his body of work. He's definitely a kid that we want to try to progress in this program and see what he can do. I mean, we're going to run the football, like I mentioned, so it's going to be a committee, obviously led by Chris. But, hey, the best player is going to play at the end of the day. So I think he's done a nice job so far. He's the type of kid that's just what an unbelievable kid. What a great kid to have in your program. And I think talent-wise, we'll see how it goes. I think John will mentor him from a personal standpoint, and also on and off the field. He's got some work to do in terms of just getting in the playbook as a young kid, coming from defense, as you mentioned. It's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, it's a lot on Chris Rodriguez, and he's played a lot of snaps here at running back. So he's progressing well, and excited about him moving forward.
All right. We got time for a couple more. We'll go Adam, John, Derek, and Justin. We'll wrap it up.
Hey Liam, this is Adam Luckett with Kentucky Sports Radio.
Yeah.
Just wanted to ask you real quick, some of that play action game, you talked about marriage of running a pass. Do you think that can be effective in the pistol, or is that something you're going to want to get under center the majority time to try to get that play action pass game going?
I think it can be in both. If you look at Alabama, their pistol operation, and Sark was a NFL West Coast guy. He was with the Falcons and ran a similar system if you really look at it. Now, he's incorporated a ton of spread things. I don't see the pistol as a spread offense formation. I see that as under center, essentially. That's how the defense views it. When they really look at it, they look at offset back, near and far, under center, and pistol is the exact same to them. It's just the pistol gives you the opportunity to run some zone read from the quarterback position, which does make, create some issues for the defense and makes you a little bit more multiple on offense if you have a guy that can do those things. So I don't think we'll have any problems if we need to do some pistol. I think it'll only help create some edges for us in the offensive run game, and some of the pass game I think will be in good shape. I don't see any issues with it right now. We've mixed it in a little bit here and there, but we're still trying to really work on that under center stuff because it is so foreign to these guys.
John?
As you talk about guys doing work on their own, especially in those OTAs, who have you seen step up in those leadership roles, kind of in the absence of a clear quarterback? You've lost Drake, as you mentioned. So many of the leaders that were here last year are not here anymore. Who are taking over those kind of roles?
I think right off the top of my head, Luke Fortner and Josh Ali are the two guys that, to me, when we need somebody to say something those guys are the ones that are stepping up. And those guys were the ones that are taking their position groups and doing individual with them when we couldn't. And they're coming up and asking us how we want things coached and detailed. And that's only going to make us better. I mean, you guys know better than I do. It's in terms of, look, if I got to holler and yell and scream all day and try to get these guys going, they're just going to start hearing it in one ear and out the other. If our players are doing it and it's coming from respected guys that are, produced at this level and done some nice things, we're only going to be a better unit. And I want this thing to be player-led. And they're doing a great job. Those guys off the top of the head, the tight ends are just steady, consistent guys that I think are going to always make plays and do some good things for us. But if we really had to talk about guys standing out, I think it would be Luke Fortner, Josh Ali for now.
All right, Derek, and then we'll wrap up with Justin.
Hey, Liam. A lot of the wide receiver talk's been focused on Josh Ali and Wan'Dale Robinson, but Isaiah Epps is a guy at this point who's been around a long time. Just how well is he kind of fitting into what you want to do?
Yeah, I think Epps has just done a nice job, man. He's a smart kid who, like you mentioned, has played some football here, and he has a trait, and that trait is running down the field and creating some vertical stretch in the defense. And I think he can be a guy that we can utilize to push the ball down the field a little bit. I think he made some plays. He came on strong at the end of the year in the bowl game. I thought he did some nice things in that game, and that's carried over into the OTAs and into some of the spring practices to get him going a little bit down the field. And he's a smart kid. He knows how to get lined up. He's played at this level before. And I think Cleveland's done a nice job as well. Cleveland stepped up big time for us over the last week, and he's done some really nice things. Some really nice things. He's working his tail off. He runs great routes. He's hustling around. He's playing. He's really one of the only guys that's playing multiple positions right now, and he can handle it. So I've been happy with that group. Obviously, Josh and Wan'Dale have made some plays, but there's been some other guys that have made some plays in that group that I'm happy with.
Justin.
Hey, Liam. There's a lot of stats available in football now, more than years ago. I was just kind of curious, what are some stats that you look at as a coach? Maybe others do too, but some stats that maybe aren't so deceiving that you look at when you're measuring an offense and you really take, I guess, a special notice of.
It's funny. It's I don't mean to quote Sean McVay. McVay always used to say we'd be on the planes after games and somebody would have the stat sheet out and looking at it, win or loss, and Sean would walk down the aisle and say, "Put that away, man. Stats are for losers." Okay, and I'm not saying that, but I've just never been a big stat guy, I guess, if you will. I think we have the ability to measure efficiency, what I think is efficient runs, explosive passes, explosive runs, and just being efficient on and off the football, because obviously with this offense, it's about efficiency in the run game on first and second down, efficiency in the play passing keepers on first and second down, and then what can we do on third down in order to move the chains to give our kids a chance to be able to create different formations, motions, and shifts to give ourselves an opportunity on third down and in the red area. So I would say, if to really answer your question about true statistics, I'm worried about efficiency in the run game, explosive plays in the pass game, how many we have each practice. We stat everything. So I'm saying, I say stats are for losers, but we also keep stats for everything because it's more so a measure for our players. They want to know how many catches they had. They want to know how many yards they had, and that's great. That's competition. So we're keeping stats of everything, but from an offensive standpoint, measuring us, it's about that efficiency and creating explosives in the pass game right now. Because we're not working any true third down, red zone situational football, Justin, that to me is where more stats come into play, is when you're looking at the red area, third down, backed up, 4-minute situations to be able to create some of that, those statistics and those things that we can work on.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
You got it.